The Premier League is back. La Liga is back. In general, football is back. And we are all excited. Have a seat, relax, and enjoy. Yeah, so let's go into the results of the first week of the Premier League. Yes, as I said, Liverpool started their campaign on Friday at home, playing to Bournemouth, beating Bournemouth by 4-2. Aston Villa played at home to Newcastle, which ended in a goalless draw. Tottenham also beat Burnley by 3-0. Another Ghanaian brother in the news again, Kudus Mohammed. What a performance. He and Richarlison were the talk of that particular game. But then the most important thing was Tottenham winning comfortably against Burnley by 3-0. Yes, another surprising one. I think that was a surprising one for the weekend. Sunderland beating West Ham by 3-0. Yes, they are back after a very long time. The Sunderland faithfuls are back in the Premier League. So that game ended in a 3-goal win for Sunderland. Manchester City also beat Wolves, playing at the Molineux. They beat Wolves by 4-0. Yes, a whole lot of things happened in there too. Tijjani Reijnders, what a performance. Erling Haaland, as usual. We are not surprised, yes. So they beat Wolves by 4-0. Crystal Palace. I could quite remember we sat here and then I discussed and said I was tipping Chelsea to challenge for this title. But then I made a point that this particular game against Crystal Palace was never going to be an easy one. And we bear witness. Because that game ended in a goalless draw at Stamford Bridge. Nottingham Forest also playing at home and beating Brentford by 3-1. Yes. And then the biggest one of the match week 1 was Manchester United versus Arsenal, which Arsenal won by 1-0. I think, yes. So these are the results for the game week 1 of the Premier League. Now, let's go into the Liverpool game, where Liverpool beat Bournemouth at home by 4-2. Yes, in this game, bro, so exciting. Because in that game, not just Liverpool fans, football fans around the world wanted to see what the likes of Florian Wirtz, Ekitike, Frimpong, and Kekes could bring to this Liverpool team. Yes, and we all saw what happened. Ekitike, brilliant performance, wonderful goal. Frimpong, on his path, he had, I think, a fair weather performance. I think he did well, but then he was really given a treat to introduce him to the Premier League. Because I think Frimpong on a day didn't really get the kind of performances that we know he gives. Going forward, he did very well, but then defensively, I think he fell short a little. So I think with him, maybe it's going to take maybe a game or two to settle in and get to know the rhythm of the Premier League. But then with someone like Kekes, who was already used to the Premier League, coming in from Bournemouth, I was surprised with his performance a little, because I think he was below par for me. Knowing how the league is, knowing the kind of players you are coming up against, you should be well prepared to give better than what he did. Yes, so I think with the on the part of KKS too, he wasn't all that good. But then the biggest talk of the news when it comes to performance in that Liverpool setup was Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz. The football world were so surprised with his performance, especially with the price tag on him. 150 million pounds coming in from Leverkusen. People were so surprised. They were like, yo, is this the 150 million pounds player we are coming to see in the Premier League? Is this the Florian Wirtz we saw at Leverkusen? That's a very big question. Because personally, from the game I watched, his performance was below average. Below average. For a player with that reputation coming into the Premier League, at least a normal average performance would have been okay. But then, in my opinion, and a lot of football fans' opinions, he was below average. And I think, let's see, this being the first game, something may change. And then maybe we will see the best of Florian Wirtz. But then, with Ekitike, bro, I was so impressed. I didn't think he would hit the ground running as soon as possible. But then, he did. And I think it's a very good one for Liverpool and their fans. Yeah, so going into the game, Liverpool took the lead. They took the lead by 2 goals. Goals from Ekitike and then Gakpo. 2 wonderfully taken goals. Yes, so from there we knew, okay, Liverpool are playing at home. They've gotten the 3 points. But then what happened? The game began to change. I think tiredness and a lot of things set in, where Frimpong and then Kekes were taken off and replaced by Robertson and Endo at right back. So Robertson's change was understandable because he was a left back, so it's a like for like change. But then bringing in Endo at his position was very questionable for me. Yes, so after that, Bournemouth began to head back, began to dominate Liverpool, hence equalizing all 2 goals. Very surprising, because from that time coming in, even before Endo and then Robertson came in, Bournemouth began to dominate the game. The likes of Semenyo, the likes of Evan Nelson, bossing the game, especially Semenyo, scoring 2 wonderful goals. So that even made a raised eyebrows as to why Semenyo didn't leave Bournemouth this season. Top player, high level quality. Yes, I think from there Liverpool came back into the game again when Chiesa gave them the lead once again, making it 3-2. We thought that was the end of the game, but then Mr. Inevitable, Mohammed Salah, came in the final minutes of the game, scored a wonderful goal, making it 4-2 for Liverpool, making him the first and only player to score in 10 straight opening day games in the Premier League. That's history, pure history. And what makes me so proud is that an African is the one holding this. Yes, he has scored in each of the last 10 years of the opening games of the Premier League that he has played in. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now to the camp of the world champions, Chelsea. Yes, they played at home to Crystal Palace. And this game, as I said, I was here, I made mention that this game isn't going to be an easy game. Yes, and we saw it. On the side of Crystal Palace, on the break, in attack, very quick, strong in midfield, solid in defense. They didn't give Chelsea a breather. They didn't give Chelsea space at all for them to execute what they wanted to do. Oliver Glasner, that guy, top manager. I salute that guy. He came in last season to Crystal Palace, won the FA Cup, beginning of this season, beat Liverpool in the Community Shield, first game of the Premier League, gets a point at Stamford Bridge. Solid execution. And I think the top teams will start looking at this guy. Yes, on the part of Chelsea, I think we didn't see the best of Chelsea. I think the Chelsea that we saw from the Club World Cup to the preseason before that game, we didn't see that Chelsea. And I think, personally, I wouldn't say it was for tactical reasons or personnel. To be honest, I didn't see that zeal, that energy that Chelsea used to play. And personally, I think it was due to fatigue or other things. But then, personally, I think it's fatigue. You may think otherwise. Because coming into the game, personally, I can't mention a single player. I would say the only player that I can say did solidly well was Ekitike. Ekitike was my best player on the Chelsea team. Came into defense. I didn't expect him to start. I was expecting Tosin. But then he was given the nod ahead of Tosin and played with Loba in central defense. He was so solid. And then, to be honest, I give him credit because no one saw that coming. Chelsea on a normal had Reijnders at right back, Cucurella at left back, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, ever present, Cole Palmer, Gittins, and then Pedro Neto on the wings, and then Joao Pedro up front. These are the same players who were giving Chelsea results. But then what happened in that game? How Crystal Palace set up was a very, very big factor. Having a player like Mateta up front, very strong, holds up play very well, which helps Crystal Palace transition, even if there's a solid block in the middle of the park. Whenever they get the ball to Mateta, he's able to hold on, to invite the likes of Sa and creative players like Eze into play. So I think these are some of the things that really stopped Chelsea from getting their results. And most importantly, how Crystal Palace defended. Joao Pedro on the day didn't have a lot of service. And I will say that was also due to how Crystal Palace set up. Gittins on the left was off the whole of that game due to how Crystal Palace set up. Pedro Neto, I didn't think also did so well on that day. Another honorable mention that I will give is Esteval. I didn't expect that boy to hit the ground running just like that. But then credit to Maresca for putting him on the bench. I think he saw better. So immediately he came into the game. He was up to the task. Running at defenders. Putting in crosses. Yes, so I think if he had come on earlier, probably it would have been a different ball game. Santos also came in. Had, I think, Chelsea's biggest chance of the game. But then wasn't able to convert. Yes, so credit to Oliver Glasner and his boys. But then I think this being the first game, Chelsea are going to do their homework, come back stronger in the next game. Then I think the Chelsea that we saw in the Club World Cup will be seen soon. Now, in this Chelsea game, let's talk about controversies. Eze scored a wonderful free kick, which was disallowed in that game. There were divided opinions. There are a lot of people who know these kind of goals to be scored in the Premier League. There are a lot of times players push or run into the opponent player just to give space to score. But the Premier League, come on. Why do we keep on changing rules? People get used to particular rules and then later on, you change it. We are used to it. The players are used to it. The fans are used to it. The next minute, you change it. I think that's a big problem that has to be resolved, to be honest. And then, during the course of the game, there was an incident between Sanchez and then Magui, where Sanchez lost the ball completely and then hit Magui. No penalty. But then in previous seasons, we see incidents just like this being given as penalties. The Premier League, please, we have to be consistent. Please, please, and please, we have to be consistent. This shouldn't be happening because it causes or it brings out a lot of criticism towards this league. Manchester City beat Wolves at the Molineux by 4-0. Goals from Erling Haaland, 2 goals. Tijjani Reijnders, solid player. Bro, solid player. If you know Tijjani Reijnders from AC Milan in the Serie A, you are not going to be surprised. Because I've watched this guy for a very long time and I was rooting for a top club to come for him. And then when I heard this guy is coming to the Premier League with Manchester City, I knew what we were going to see. Very creative, technical ability, top. Intelligence, top. That's the power of how good your team can be if you are good at recruiting. Yes, so in this game, we saw the likes of Cherki in the game as well, who also scored. So, meaning Manchester City's 2 attacking signings were both on the score sheet. Erling Haaland, we all know this guy. We always say yes, he comes into games. He's not part of the build-up. He's always isolated. He's always quiet within. But then he always delivers. He does the most important thing as a striker. He gave Manchester City 2 goals. Another goal came from Tijjani Reijnders, who also had an assist. And then finally, Cherki, another intelligent player. He's got takers. Very creative. Wonderful goal as well from Rayan, Cherki. Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. Interesting game. This is one of the games where you see a club lose, but then their fans are somehow excited. Yes, this is due to how Manchester United performed. And I understand this from a United point of view, because it's been a very long time you see your club do so good, right? To the extent that you even forget the result. You know, sometimes as a football fan, you are okay if your club plays so good. Your club is consistent. It's consistently playing good, but then lose a game. Yes, that was the case of Manchester United and what happened against Arsenal. In that game, Manchester United started with Reijnders in goal, Luke Shaw at the left side of centre-back, Matthias de Ligt in the middle, Euro on the right side of centre-back, and then played Dalot at right wing-back, Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro in the middle, Dogu at the left side of wing-back, Cunha, Mount, and then Mbeumo up top. Solid 11. But then when the lineup came out, some United fans, including me, were surprised. Because that wasn't how Amorim sets up or how he played through preseason. People were surprised. But then when the game started, we saw a new look United. The anger, the push, the pressing, the aggression was there. And I think the likes of Cunha and Mbeumo have re-energized this United team. And I think with the inclusion of a proper holding midfielder, this United team are going to cause problems. Because against a team like Arsenal, and they gave this kind of performance, we were so surprised. On the likes of Arsenal, they were so poor on the day, to be honest. no absentees. Their normal players, the usual players that they play with, were present. But then what happened? The goal from Calafiori was the difference. Arsenal could sometimes play, but then their problem was just the final balls sometimes. They get their moments, go forward, the final ball being a problem. And on the part of Manchester United, their problem since last season, or even the season before last season, was conceding from set pieces. And I think they have to do something about it. You are an organization, a very big one too. You can't keep making certain mistakes that leads to goal and expect things to be okay. But then from what I saw yesterday, Mbeumo, world class. Cunha, his ball carrying ability. Bro, he drops down, picks the ball, runs at defenders. One of the things that I also impressed with, when he gets the ball, he hardly gives back passes. When he gets the ball, first thing he thinks of is to run at you, the defender. One of the best qualities of a forward in the modern game. Later on, Sesko came in, which I think he did okay. He didn't do so good. But then, we know he joined United not so long ago, having had a lot of matches. I think he played against the U21s. That was where he played. I think that you can't have that enough fitness to come and face a team like Arsenal in the Premier League. Mason Mount, the way that guy runs, I think that guy is going to have a very good season this year. Let's talk about Arsenal's defense. Gabriel, Saliba, David Raya. I think they won the game for Arsenal. Because there are situations where you would think United should score, but then they salvage the situation. I think they playing together for a very long time is very key. That's why they are where they are today. But then on the part of United, especially when Ahmad came in, it seems the front line haven't really understood themselves yet. Because there are situations, Mbeumo gets a chance to shoot, Ahmad comes in, crosses him, takes the ball from him, everything spoils. So I think with the United setup, especially the front line, it needs some time to understand each other for everything to work out. Yes, so I think on the day, tactically, United were better in terms of possession, creating chances, everything. Shots, United were the far superior side. Reason why United fans are so excited for the future. But then the most important thing went to Arsenal, who defended for their lives. And I think usually on the first day of Premier League, an ugly win is a win. It doesn't matter how you win. You should win. At least make sure you get 3 points. That's the most important thing. Now let's go to La Liga. The Spanish La Liga was back. Everyone is excited. And these are the results of match week 1. It started with Girona playing at home, who were red carded and lost to Rayo Vallecano by 3-1. Villarreal also beat Real Oviedo by 2-0. The champions, Barcelona, went away to Mallorca and beat them by 3-0. Controversies in that game, a whole lot. Valencia also drew with Real Sociedad at home by 1-1. Alaves beat Levante, the newcomers, by 2-1. Celta Vigo also lost at home to Getafe, surprisingly, by 2-0. Atletico Bilbao, the Nico brothers, yes, they did the job. They beat Sevilla by 3-2. Sorry. And then the most surprising one, Espanyol beating Diego Simeone's aggressive Atletico Madrid by 2-1. Yes, so these are the results of the first match week in La Liga. Thank you guys for joining us today. This brings us to the end of today's show. Like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.